Okay, great. Okay, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning for student. Welcome to join the seminar today by Daniel Sun. He was a three-time US AMO winner when he was in high school, and he was also an alumnus of the MOOC program. And then he went to MIT, studied computer science. After graduating from MIT, he became the co-founder and CEO of MathDash, which is an innovative platform to make personalized math learning accessible and engaging students worldwide. So welcome, Daniel, and then you can go ahead and start your seminar.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm Daniel. I'm the co-founder and CEO of MathDash. And today I'm going to be talking about how to learn math. And what I really mean by learning math is I want to talk about how to love math and really like it. Because in order to really learn something effectively, you need to be focused. And in order to have focus and spend a lot of time on it, you need to like doing it. Cool. Let's dive in. So like I said, started MathDash earlier last year with my good friend Akshaj. We were both MIT class of 2022, where we studied math and computer science. Between the two of us, we qualified for MOP 3 times, USMO 7 times, etc. And we also worked at Jane Street as quants before quitting our jobs to start MathDash. So why did we start MathDash? I think the most important reason is because math education is extremely important, and specifically teaching students problem-solving skills is very, very important, not just for their success in math competitions or anything, but also for their success in life. Um, and as an example of how important it is, or how I've seen it play out. This is my middle school math cons team. That's me right there. And this is the rest of the students on the team. Now, only half of these students went on to do competitive math in high school. The other students stopped doing math altogether. But the valuable problem-solving skills that they picked up from doing math in middle school and pursuing it really helped carry through to the rest of their lives. So one, problem solving is important, but two, I think that growing up in the United States as in the last 20 years and going through all of the math education resources, going to school, trying online classes, reading textbooks, going to in-person learning centers, we saw the whole gamut of all the possibilities that there were to learn math and learn problem solving. And we found the thing that worked for us, but also the thing that worked for a lot of our friends because I'd always ask people when I was younger, like, how did you learn math? How did you learn math? I wanted to know. And it turns out that the thing that really helps people get better at solving math problems is just doing lots of practice solving math problems, trying to solve problems, trying to see where you went wrong, and trying to improve. The more time people spend trying to solve math problems, the better they get. And while the classes and textbooks can be effective for some students, for most students, what they really need to focus on is just doing lots of problem solving practice. And to understand why, I think we should really understand what math is as a discipline. So math, um, learning math is similar to learning things like sports and piano. When you learn something, you can pick up knowledge or you can pick up skills. I think these are two separate things. So if you wanted to learn history or biology, the thing that we want you to focus on is memorizing lots of facts, obtaining a lot of knowledge. That's how you're going to get better at history and biology. But if you wanted to get better at math, piano, and sports, what we want to focus on is acquiring skills. You want to train that problem-solving muscle so that you can exercise and use it in different scenarios. And if you wanted to ask someone, how do you get better at things like sports or piano? I think the answer would be pretty clear. What you would do is you would have them play the sport or play piano, and then you would get them a coach. And the coach would assess their level and have them do practice at that level. The coach would identify weaknesses or areas for improvement and then give you specific drills to practice and improve. The coach would give feedback when you're doing things right or wrong and provide metrics for accountability. And most importantly, the coach is keeping the student encouraged and engaged so that they're spending more focused time improving their skills at piano and sports. I think this is the best way to improve at math as well. The best way to improve at math is to treat it the same way. And so, with that sort of philosophy of how to improve at math, we built MathDash. MathDash is math as a sport with a 24/7 automated private coach. So, the formula for math learning looks like having a really in-depth systematic educational curriculum, having personalized learning where we're keeping track of everything that you're doing and giving you stuff at your level and targeting areas for improvement, feedback and hints for everything on the platform, providing motivation and encouragement, and also having the platform be available for use 24/7 so that you can learn math 24/7 and access that guidance 24/7. This is the formula that leads to a sharp increase in math skill in such a short period of time. So let's dive into what each of those different components of learning math on MathDash looks like. So first is the educational curriculum. What we've done is we've taken the past 30 years of public high quality math problems from contests like the AMC, AMY, and other math contests, and we've sorted them each problem by topic and by difficulty. So you can see volume one is the most basic math. You don't need to know any algebra or even pre-algebra to do this. And it goes all the way up to volume five, which is, problems 10 through 15 on the AMY. And you can see these topics here are a lot harder. Uh, and to see what learning topics looks like on MathDash, I can show you a basic example. So this is the chapter in the textbook on fractions. You can read this handout on fractions to learn about them and obtain the conceptual knowledge for the first time. But really what we want you to do is work through the practice problems up here, and they're all sorted by difficulty. So I can work on this practice problem to get better at fractions. The answer to this one is something like this. But if I didn't know the answer, right, I could open up hints. And now the hints are helping me understand how to think about and how to approach this problem. The hints also encourage students when they're stuck. The worst thing in learning math is to get stuck for forever and not know how to proceed and feel like you can't improve and give up. Whereas on MathDash, for every single problem, we've written high quality hints so that you can get through it by yourself. Um, and once you get it right, that's very exciting. You get a rating update to reflect your progress, and you can see more practice problems like this if you want to do similar problems. Cool. So going back to the curriculum, again, we've taken all the high quality problems, organized them by topic and difficulty, written hints and solutions, and handouts for every single problem. Now let's talk about how MathDash is measured. So every problem that you solve or try to do on MathDash, we're tracking that data, right? So we're tracking how long you took, we're tracking how many hints you used, all of that stuff. And we're recording it behind the scenes and letting you access it for yourself too. So you can see all of the past things that you did on MathDash over here. You can see your rating over time and how it's changed. I'll talk about rating more in a bit. You can see past problems that you didn't solve to review them. You can bookmark problems to review later. So all of these features, we're making sure that when you're training math, we're measuring everything that you're doing, keeping track of that progress, giving you an ELO rating, which is a number that corresponds to your skill level in math, so that you can see how how you're progressing and track that level throughout time. It's very, very motivating to see this rating number go up when you do math problems. One of the biggest problems with learning math is that the payout doesn't come out for a long time, right? You learn math today, the problem solving skills, you're not really going to be able to exercise them until many years down the line. Now, having math competition helps a little bit with this because now you can show that you learned the math the next year. But with MathDash, you can show that you learned that math and gain the rating instantly, which is very exciting for a lot of students. Cool. Moving on. So personalized. MathDash is personalized. Like I said, we're measuring every single problem that you solved or didn't solve, how many hints you used. And so based off of that data, we're able to create high quality recommendations for you to work on. So for example, on this account, you can see I'm tracking my rating for algebra, counting and probability, geometry, and number theory. I've recently missed problems related to these topics, so it's recommending that I check out these topics to work on them in case I'm looking for ways to improve my game. I can also play in these mini contests to try to improve my rating. Um, and maybe most importantly, I can chat with my my coach here and just say, hey, I need help with this problem, and they can chat back with me. The coach can also help you choose what to work on. You and your coach can decide on a focus topic to work through together. So my focus topic right now is linear equations, and it's saying I should work on problem number 22. So I can go ahead and work on this problem, again, using the hints for every problem and trying to figure out what the correct answer is. And in this case, I think the answer is 30. Cool. So that's how to use MathDash to do personalized learning as well. All of that's pretty cool. But I think the biggest aspect of why MathDash works for students is that it's motivating. Seeing your rating go up over time as you learn concepts and getting rewarded and being able to track your progress is a huge, huge, huge improvement in terms of learning math and staying on track. And I can talk a little bit more about why this rating is useful as a benchmark, because this rating is a measure of your skill. So if you wanted to achieve certain milestones with math education, all we need to do is get your rating to that level. And now we can say, okay, you're at a good enough skill level where this is going to be easy for you. So if you wanted to be at a level where learning middle school math is easy, all you need to do is get your rating to 900. If you want to qualify for Amy, for example, all you need to do is get to 1700 rating. So if today you're 1200 and you want to qualify for Amy in 5 months on the AMC 10, you want to try to gain 100 rating every month. And how are you going to gain rating? You just play MathDash, explore the problems, try to get them right. When you get them wrong, review your solutions, do the targeted training. Um, and as a heuristic, we can see that this is raw data drawn from our user base. As users spend more time on MathDash doing problems, they're gaining more rating. And on average, for every hour spent on MathDash, users are gaining 1.65 rating. So you can use that as well as a sort of an estimate to see how much time you need to invest into MathDash in order to improve at math as well. Let's talk through some success stories. So these are some students who have used MathDash to train and have offered to share some of that information. So this is Apollo, sixth grader from Texas. He started math contests in fourth grade. In fifth grade, he got a 20 on the AMC 8 and a 99 on the AMC 10. And then 1 month before the AMC 10 this year, he started playing with MathDash. His original diagnostic rating was 1400. And then after spending a couple hours a day for the next 40 days before the AMC, over 100 hours in total, he gained 200 rating on the platform. So he got to 1600 and he qualified for Amy. So that's pretty exciting. Let's walk through another example. So this is Andy. He's an eighth grader and he started math in sixth grade. Then in seventh grade, he got a 45 on the AMC 10. And at the end of seventh grade, he said he wanted to get a lot better at math. So he started MathDash, got a 1300 rating on his diagnostic, and then trained for 2 hours a day over the whole summer, plus in the fall. So over 300 hours total, gained 500 rating, and got a 135 on the AMC 10 and qualified for Amy, got a 9. And again, another story. These are just users who spend more time on MathDash. So Ryan's a 10th grader. He started math in eighth grade, got reasonable scores in ninth grade. And then when he started MathDash, he was a 1600 rating, and then only did MathDash for the next year or until the AMC 10. And he got 127.5 and an 11. And it's not like a magic trick where he opens MathDash one day and then the next day he's getting these crazy scores. He's still spending a lot of time on MathDash. The key is that MathDash makes it easy to spend time. It helps the students love math and improve easily as well, know exactly what areas they can improve on. Um, so those are those students, but I also want to talk about my own story because my own story with learning math is kind of the whole philosophy. It's the whole background of the philosophy for why MathDash works and how we started this company in the first place. So when I was in ninth grade, I got a 114 on the AMC 10 and an 8 on the AMY. Even though my parents signed me up for a lot of classes and bought me all the textbooks beforehand, I tried to do them, I tried to read them, but frankly, the reason I didn't do well is because I wasn't interested enough in those textbooks or in those classes. So I wasn't paying attention as much as I could have, and I wasn't learning as much as I could have. But after this experience, I was very frustrated. And so I wanted to get better at math. And what I did is I signed a contract for myself. So I wrote this. This is still in my childhood bedroom. And I basically said, math is something you work for. This is the day of the AMC 10 or the AMY, I forget. So I said, I will work on math for at least 1 hour each day. And I signed it, and that's what I did. Every day I took old problems. I tried to do them. When I didn't know how to do them and I got stuck, I read the solutions. I looked up the concepts that I was missing. And the next year, after doing this for a whole summer, um, in 10th grade, got a 135 on the AMC 12, got a 12 on AMY, 14 on USMO, and made MOP. So the takeaway here is that improvement comes from focused time spent on learning math, and focused, dedicated time spent on learning math can only come from a passion for math. Um, and MathDash makes it easy for students to have passion for math. Uh, People love MathDash. These are just some screenshots that I took over the last week from chatting with some parents. Um, so this is a student who has been doing MathDash for a long time, and I got to meet him in person at Armel, which is very exciting. On the right here is another student who uh, was going to represent or could have represented San Francisco, but decided not to. But hopefully he'll come next year. And one of his friends apparently tried MathDash for the first time today, and his dad had to drag him to dinner, apparently because he was so excited about doing it. And this is not uncommon to hear because we talk to our students as well all the time, and they tell us the same thing. So this is Bradley. He was originally going to do an in-person learning center program for over the summer to qualify for JMO. But after showing him MathDash and having him try it out for a couple weeks, he canceled his in-person learning center summer and is doing MathDash for 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours a day over the summer. And he's been getting better a lot faster. Um, Here's one of my friends. She sent MathDash to her sister, and her sister responded, "Thank you so much for MathDash. This is the literal best." Her sister's also very active, spends a couple hours a day learning math on MathDash. Here's another student who said MathDash is genuinely helpful. If I had done the nested square roots dash before Armel, I would have gotten a 7. So for context, for those of you who don't know what that means, nested square roots dash is one of the practice contests on MathDash, where you can learn techniques about how to manipulate nested square roots. And one of the problems from that training module appeared on the Armel contest this year as well, or a very, very similar problem. And that makes sense, right? Because we've taken the past 30 years of high quality problems, we've organized and categorized all of them, and a lot of those ideas are going to be similar to ideas that are going to appear on future contests as well. And then here's one other student. He said last year he got a 109.5, improved to 144 after MathDash for AMC 10. All he did was MathDash and the mocks. So again, classes, books, all great stuff. If you like doing those, please keep doing them. But if you don't like doing them, that's okay too, because if you just work on solving problems on MathDash and learning the concepts when we identify that there's areas for improvement, you'll get very, very, very good at math as well. So I've been talking about the free MathDash platform this whole time. We also have something called MathDash Premium, which is a paid version of the platform. The only difference between MathDash Premium and normal MathDash is that you get full access to the books instead of partial access. You get unlimited hints instead of us rate limiting your hints. Um, and then we can also give you a 24/7 AI help bot that we've worked on. And you can also get direct email help from the coaches as well. Whenever you get stuck on something, just send us an email and we'll help you out. There's also a version of Premium that you can get with one-on-one coaching sessions once a week. That's a more involved thing that you can sign up for, but we recommend if you're serious about getting better at math, Premium is the best way to do that just because you get full access to all of the books. If you want to learn what it's like, you can schedule a free training session here at your convenience. And we're also running a summer program for this summer because summer is a very, very important time to use to get better at the things you're passionate about, whether that's math or anything else. So if you're interested, you can also sign up for daily one-on-one sessions over the summer. But yeah, that's kind of the platform. Premium is an elevated version. You get unlimited hints. You get full access to all of the handouts. As you can see, for our premium users, on average, they're gaining rating faster than the other users, which is especially exciting because most of our premium users have stopped their other math classes and are focusing on MathDash only. And more of them are switching as well because they're realizing that they don't need anything else once they're learning with MathDash. We're seeing people are spending more time preparing for math over the summer. We're seeing that their ratings are going up the more time they spend. And one other thing that maybe is interesting to point out is that no one who's bought the educational version of MathDash Premium so far has canceled it. So maybe that tells you a thing or two about how much people like it and how effective it is. So that wraps up the presentation. I definitely want to leave time for questions, but if you want to ask me, how do you get better at math this summer? I just have a simple answer. Just play with MathDash and do the contests, try new problems, review your answers when you get stuck. It's going to help a lot with improving at problem solving. And you can scan this QR code here just to leave an email so that I know who to contact to follow up with sending you these slides and any other information. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for listening and very happy to answer questions.
Yeah, you can either open your mic to ask question or you can put the question in the chat.
Yes, there will be a recording. I think we will share a recording.
Hi, I joined the meeting late. So I have a question. I don't know if you may mention in the beginning. So what kind of like a math problems do you have in your system, and why that is more effective than other systems?
Yeah, it's a great question. So like I was saying during the presentation, what we've done is we've taken the past 30 years of high quality math contests, like the AMC and Amy. We've taken every single problem. The thing that we've done that's very special on top of that is we've categorized every single problem by difficulty and by topic. We've also written full hints and solutions for every single problem that guide you through the problem solving process. So if you get stuck, you can open up hints. So this way, you're always learning at the optimal rate. You're always working on problems that are at your level. We know what your level is. We know what the level of the problem is. We know what topics you need to work on. We know what topics the problems are. And when you get stuck, we can help you by giving you those hints. So that I would say that's the biggest difference.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. The problems are coming from past problems from high quality public exams, and also problems that we've written ourselves to supplement areas where there's not enough material from the past competitions to teach the subject effectively. Okay, another question. How can students get a sense of where they stand in the different topics of math and how to focus on improvement? So without MathDash, there's not a very good way to do this. You would probably have to go to an expert, have them ask you a lot of math questions, and then assess your level. With MathDash, all you need to do is create an account, play in the MathDash problems, try to solve them, and then over time, the system will detect what your level is and tell you on your homepage. So if I share my screen real quick, you can see that on the MathDash homepage, it tells me what my ratings are for each subject: algebra, combinatorics, geometry, and number theory. And we know what each rating means. I shared it in the slides, but you can also go to mathdash.com/rating to understand what each rating means. So silver division 1200 to 1400 means medium hard AMC 8, medium hard math count states, AMC 10 early problems, AMC 12 easy problems, etc. So now I can see that what that means is for me, on this account, since I haven't done too much serious math on this account, all of my algebra, combinatorics, and number theory level is around that silver division level. And then my geometry level is closer to AMY qualification level on this account. Sorry, let me go back to the chat. Also, if you ask a question verbally, I'll prioritize that instead of going through these one by one. Okay, when students get stuck on a math question, what resource does MathDash website itself provide? So I shared this during the presentation. When you get stuck on any question on MathDash, there's a very clear way to get unstuck. So if I'm doing this question on MathDash and I'm stuck, I can open up hints. These are hints that we've written for every single problem so that we can guide you through the problem solving process when you get stuck. So for this problem, let's say I don't know how to do it, I can open up a hint and I can open up another hint. We're not going to recommend you do this problem unless we know that you're at the math level where you can understand these hints. So if this looks confusing to you, maybe that's because we never would have told you to do this problem in the first place, because we would have you work on more fundamental concepts first. Cool, hope that answers your question. Do kids with high ratings require more hours in MathDash to increase rating than kids at lower levels? Yes. The rating increase is definitely not going to be linear for the higher levels. It's going to get harder and harder. But also, generally, the kids at the higher levels want to spend more time on math because they like it so much. I think you start to see the rating gain over time level out when you hit around 1800 rating. And so maybe at that level, you would only gain 1 rating per hour. Is there any problem similar to those of MTS? I assume that means USA MTS. The answer is yes. We have proof problems on MathDash as well. So there are problems that are similar. However, if you want them graded, that's hard for us to do. So we do not guarantee grading for the free users on those proof problems. How do you stop the kids from using the hints unnecessarily? It's a good question. So whenever we identify kids are using hints, too many hints, that's going to flag our system. We know exactly when you're opening hints and not opening hints. To show you evidence of that, you can see it's all logged here. So I opened 2 hints so far. If I open a 3rd hint, it's going to show up here as well. So we can see we're recording all of that information. If you open up too many hints and you're a free user, we're probably not going to do anything. If you're in the paid program, we're going to tell you, hey, stop using hints, because we care about your improvement. But even for the free users, I think they'll understand that when they use hints, the rating's not going to go up as much. So you'll see that because I used hints on this problem, even if I solve it correctly, which, I can solve this problem correctly at some point, maybe not now. Even if I solved it correctly, my rating would not go up by as much as if I solved it without hints. So kids who use too many hints, their rating is not going to go up. They're going to get stuck. Only when they stop using hints will their rating go up. Okay, another question. My son does not like geometry, but likes algebra. Should he still use math? Should he still learn math for Amy? Is geometry useful in the long run? So this is a good question. Is geometry useful in the long run? I think my answer is yes, up to a certain level. And it's the same reason why learning math is useful in the long run, up to a certain level. If you remember the third slide where I showed you my middle school math counts team, half of them stopped doing math in high school, but they still had really, really successful careers because the general problem solving skills that they learned from doing math were helpful for them later on in life. So I think there's tremendous benefit to learning math up until the Amy level and even up to the USAMO level. Once you get to that level, learning math becomes more and more niche. You have to learn these advanced techniques that probably don't generalize as much. So if your son doesn't like geometry, he should still learn it for Amy. I think it'll be good for him, not just for his competition scores, which are fun, but ultimately for his life as well, for his problem solving skills, because that's what matters. Do you recommend this platform for younger kids who have just started preparing AMC 8? Or is this more higher level? So this platform is good for all students between as young as first grade. We have first graders who learn math on MathDash very effectively. Obviously, there are more advanced first graders, but as long as you have a fifth grade math understanding, MathDash is good for you. And it goes all the way up until USAMO/MOP. So if you're already USAMO MOP level, probably you should not use MathDash. You should probably use Otis. It's called Olympiad Training Individual Study. It's created by one of our friends. His name is Evan Chen. He's very cool. And if you want to learn math at the USAMO MOP level, please go do his program. But if you want to learn math from fifth grade, fourth grade math, all the way up until qualifying for USAMO, I think MathDash is the best place to do that. If a student's AMC 10 is around 90 to 100, typically what level of MathDash will you recommend? How long, how many hours per month? So like I shared during the slides, generally we see users gain 1.5 to a 2 rating per hour they spend. So whatever your goal is, if you want to qualify for Amy, you want to hit 1700 rating, whether you want to do that on your own or with MathDash Premium, that's up to you. I just want students to have fun learning math. I don't think they need to have premium to do that. I think MathDash is very, very fun and effective for all students, even if it's free. Does your system offer teaching of concept or just questions with hints? Yes, it offers teaching with concepts. The way that you learn concepts is through our curriculum. Like I said during the presentation, for every topic, we have the problems with the hints. And if you don't understand the concept at all, we also wrote handouts. So you can read this handout while you're stuck, and you can open it up. And now this is basically a textbook chapter on this concept. We've also identified more concepts than any textbook out there because we've labeled and categorized every single problem by topic. So there's literally a chapter for every group of 20 problems. So this one is pretty standard. This is linear equations, but you'll find topics that you probably haven't even thought about before in our books. For example, let's just scroll through here. These all seem pretty standard. There's not that many books that have, Chicken McNugget or Simon's favorite factoring trick or, special triangles or rationalizing radicals, clever substitutions. These are all topics that we've identified because we built up our topics by analyzing the entire set of high quality problems from the past 30 years and grouping them into appropriate topics for them. So I think hopefully that answers your question about how students can learn on math, learn knowledge. How is MathDash different from AOPS Alchemist? I think you should try MathDash and try AOPS Alchemist, and whichever one you have more fun on, and you feel like you're learning from more, you should do that one. The idea is very similar to AOPS Alchemist. I think the execution is very, very different. We have hints for every single problem. We have topics for every single problem that AOPS Alchemist does not do. AOPS is focused a lot on their in-person learning centers. AOPS is a wonderful company. I think there's a lot of students who benefit from AOPS. Alchemist is a product that they make on the side. MathDash is our whole product. That's everything that we're focusing on. So you should just try the two of them. If you like AOPS Alchemist more, that's great. You should do that. How much does MathDash recommend students to work on before using hints or submitting the answers for sake of speed constraints? So every single problem, we set a time limit for that problem on MathDash. And that's because we want you to be able to solve the problem in that period of time, which is the period of time that you would probably have to solve it in a real contest. And also because we don't want you stuck too long on one problem. That's boring. So every problem on MathDash has a time limit. How much time do we recommend? It's really up to the student. If the student wants to open up hints, they can open up hints and try to solve the problem, but they're going to lose rating as well. They're not going to get as many rating points if they solve the problem using hints versus if they solve it by themselves. So the student can make that judgment, whatever makes their rating go up more. Another cool feature on MathDash is that once you run out of time for a contest, it'll put you into something called overtime. So you still have another 10 minutes or 20 minutes, depending on the time length, to try to solve the problem and get your name on the leaderboard with a green mark to show that, hey, I actually solved this problem by myself. I just took a little bit longer than the other person. Versus red would mean that you didn't solve it and you had to look at the solution to get it right. Will premium users get all proof questions answers graded? We used to do that. I don't think we're doing that anymore, but that might change. Can you put the name link for high level math learning, something called Math Olympiad? Yes, it's called Olympiad Training Individual Study, or OTIS for short. How does MathDash provide diagnostic tests? So whenever you create an account, we ask you for some information. Have you qualified for Amy before? What grade are you in? How much math do you do? Then we give you a diagnostic test based off of your answers. When you get everything right, it's going to increase your rating by a lot and give you, it's adaptive, right? So it's pretty smart about that. It understands what your level is. It gives you an appropriate diagnostic test based on that level. Students might have a different aptitude in math. For those who have been hovering around a certain level, how would you recommend students to best use their time if their short-term goal is making Amy? So if your short-term goal is making Amy, just hit 1700 rating on MathDash. That's all you need to do. When you do MathDash, you're going to be working on problems. Because you're hovering at that level, let's say 1500 rating, there's going to be some problems that you cannot solve at the 1500 level. Then MathDash will identify the areas for improvement, the areas where problems you're not solving, and it will tell you, hey, you're not solving these problems, you can work on them. When you work on those problems and you spend time focusing on solving problems in areas that you're not good at, you're going to get better at math, and you're going to improve. So all you need to do is do that. More hours you spend, the more your rating goes up. Once your rating hits 1700, you're going to qualify for Amy. Is MathDash accessible in China? Yes, it is. Can I choose only work on AMC problems? I want to prepare AMC 12 tests. I think this is a mistake. I think only working on AMC 12 problems to prepare for the AMC 12 means you're not going to do well in the AMC 12. You should work on math problems at your level. The ultimate goal is to teach you problem solving. The students who do best on the AMC 12 are the students who have the best problem solving abilities, and the whole purpose of MathDash is to teach you problem solving. So if you want to get better at AMC 12, you should do the recommendation that MathDash gives you to help you increase your rating. And when your rating hits 1700, you will make Amy. How do I reach you if I have any questions? My email is daniel@mathdash.com. Just send me an email. Can students do mock or real AMC 10, 12 tests in MathDash and get their ratings adjusted based on their test results? Yes, that is the whole purpose of the platform. So if you only want to do mock tests and you don't want to do, if you want to sort of just do mock contests, even though we've made a lot of other materials for you, instead of seeing this view over here, which is your home page and your learning view, just go to the contest view. And then if you want to do mock AMC 10, just click AMC 10. These are all mock AMC 10 contests that you can do on MathDash, and they're all completely free. You want to do AMC 8, click AMC 8. If you want to do AMC 12, it's got to be here somewhere. AMC 12, there it is, AMC 12. These are all AMC 12 contests that, again, completely free that you can do as mocks on MathDash, and they will adjust your rating. How will MathDash encourage and help students when they're stuck at a certain level? So we don't have any students who've been stuck at a certain level on MathDash because we have very, very good mechanisms for getting you unstuck. If you're stuck at a certain level, what does that mean? It means you can solve some problems at that level and you cannot solve other problems. MathDash is going to identify the types of problems that you cannot solve and tell you to do them. And the encouragement is that if you do them, it's a game. MathDash is a game, it's a sport. So when you complete your missions, when you complete the certain recommendations MathDash is giving you, it's going to give you gold, it's going to give you encouragement, it's going to give you more rating. That's really exciting, right? I feel like that is really motivating to know exactly where you need to improve and then do it and then get rewarded with more rating. So that's how we encourage students who are stuck. We identify exactly where they need to work to improve, and then we tell them what to do. You said 1,700 for each of the 4 subjects. Yes, if you want to qualify for Amy, you want to hit 1,700 in each of your 4 subjects because let's say you only hit 1,700 in 3 subjects and 1,500 in geometry, but then the AMC 10 happens to have a bunch of geometry problems on it. Well, that's pretty unfortunate, but if you're not able to solve geometry problems at a 1,700 level, you can't guarantee that you're going to qualify. How can you be so confident that if you achieve a 1,700 rating, you will qualify? So 1,700 rating roughly means problem number 20 on AMC 10. So 1,700 rating means that you've been able to consistently solve problem number 20 on AMC 10 in today's difficulty. Also, we have all of the data from the past year. So we have lots of students who've used MathDash before the AMC 10 this year. When they all took the AMC 10, we asked for results, and we took a snapshot of their ratings at that time. Over 90% of students over 1,700 rating qualified for the AMY. So you know, if you have a 1,700 rating and you trust the data, you will qualify. Now, there were some students who had a 1,700 or above rating who did not qualify at that time. And the reason for that is very clear. It's because it's very easy to cheat on MathDash. It's not like we prevent you from looking up answers. So we have some users who we identify and we ban them. But there are some users who look up answers when doing MathDash because they want their rating to go up. And that's how they got their rating above 1,700. And so those users didn't qualify for the AMY. But we are very confident that if you have a 1,700 rating in every subject, that means you can solve problems at the AMC 10 number 20 level consistently without silly mistakes. That's why you're 1,700 rating. And so if you hit that, you're going to qualify. Obviously, we have students who qualified who are not 1,700, right? We have students who are 1,600 or 1,500, and they still made it because they got a little bit lucky. But if you have 1,700 in everything, you can be pretty confident. How do you get MathDash? MathDash.com. Go to MathDash.com, click log in or start training or any of the buttons, and you can start doing MathDash. Where can I access the recording of this session? So if you fill out this form, which I will send in the Zoom chat, I will get your contact information, and then I will make sure to send you a recording and the slides as well. Oh, did you want to say something? Or
No, I don't.
okay, cool. What's the rating to qualify for JMO or AMO? So that was in the slides as well. This is from data from last year. As we know, the AMO and JMO cutoffs are constantly changing for one reason or another. So these, I wouldn't trust these as much, but this is what we saw last year. Most users who had training rating for each of their subjects at this level were able to qualify. So 2200 for JMO and 2400 for AMO. AMC 12 and AMC 10 has 1700, same difficulty. Yeah, it's pretty similar. We didn't do too much. We didn't notice a big difference between AMC 10 and AMC 12. Why is it timed? It's timed because we don't want you to waste too much time on one problem and get stuck and then give up. We want you to be able to just move on. Remember, we're tracking every problem that you get wrong or that you struggle with so that we can give you more targeted practice later on. We don't need you to spend 30 minutes or an hour stuck on the same problem. Another reason that it's timed is it's more exciting. You feel more locked in and focused during that period of time. Just like in sports, why are sports games timed? It's just more focused time to just lock in and really train. How can you improve your speed using MathDash? My kids have slow speed. So this is really interesting. This is a really interesting question. I kind of think speed, if you're slow, what that really means is that there's some concepts you're not familiar with. Maybe you understand them, maybe you learn them, but you're not familiar with them. You're not comfortable using them. So just how in piano, I can play the song slowly if I'm not that good at piano. I can still play it slowly. But if I've practiced the piece many times and I really understand how to play the piece and I understand all of the notes and the music, then I can play the piece faster. I think math is the same. To improve your speed at math, you just need to get more comfortable using problem-solving ideas. You need to have more experience doing them. And the way to improve your speed using MathDash is to just do the math training. It will both teach you new concepts and help you review old concepts that you're not as fast with and you struggle with. And so it will naturally help you improve your speed as well. So MathDash may make math competition more competitive. Those who don't use MathDash may be left out. Yes, that's correct. MathDash is going to make math competitions more competitive and people who don't use it will be left out. I think that's true. I think MathDash is very effective for learning. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. MathDash is free for everyone. So it's actually, if anything, it's increasing accessibility to doing math contests for everyone in the world. We work with groups in third world countries like the Philippines and Rwanda, Ghana, etc., Bhutan. We help them learn math. They just use MathDash to learn math. They're getting really, really, really good, and they use it completely for free. So what we're doing is, yes, we're making the math competition more competitive, but actually what we're really doing is we're helping more people around the world have access to a way to get good at problem solving, which is the whole purpose of math education and math contests in the first place, is to give people an avenue to get better at problem solving. So I think this is actually a good thing for the world. And I think people should use MathDash. I think it's good for them. How can you improve your skills? Just do MathDash. It will tell you how to improve and tell you what problems you need to work on and what concepts you need to learn to improve. What did I miss? We will send you a recording. If you fill out this Google form, we can record that you were here and we can send you a recording. My kid often makes silly mistakes in the easier problems on the AMC 10, but can get the more difficult problems. Can MathDash help the kid? Yes. So if your kid is making silly mistakes and getting problems wrong, we're going to notice that. And we're going to see the kid is always making this mistakes on this type of problem. So what that means is that we need them to work on that type of problem more so that they can understand why they're making those silly mistakes. And I think silly mistakes really come from a lack of solid conceptual understanding, usually. People say they make silly mistakes. I used to say it too when I was doing math. But I think it's just a cover up for what's really going down deep down, which is that the kid has some sort of misunderstanding, something that they don't fully grasp. And MathDash is identifying all of that and giving you recommendations for what to work on. How can you improve your skills? You can improve your skills by doing MathDash, seeing lots of problem ideas, trying to solve them, getting stuck, reading hints, reading handouts, and doing the things that MathDash recommends for you to work on. Awesome. Are there any other questions that people have that they want to ask over voice?
Yeah, about the silly mistakes, I really feel my kids did not grasp the concept very solid. So how to improve that? That I feel that is kind of hard.
So yeah, so let's say I was a private coach. Let's ignore MathDash for a second. Let's say I was just coaching your student one-on-one, and I was noticing that they were making lots of silly mistakes. What I would do is I would tell them, hey, slow down. I know we can solve some of these other problems that seem harder, but if we really want to get better at problem solving in the long run, we need to make sure we understand this. Can you try to do this problem? And then I would give them a problem to do, where the main idea revolved around what I thought their conceptual misunderstanding was. I would try to have them solve the problem. And if they got it wrong, I would say, look, maybe there's something here. Let's try to understand this problem. I would give them hints. I would give them guidance. Hey, what if you think about the case where A equals B? I would give them these hints, and then they would solve the problem. And through solving the problem that way with the hints, they would learn. They would see how they were making the wrong assumptions or where they were lacking. And then I would give them another problem and another problem and another problem until now they understand this concept. Now, I say this is what I would do if I was a private coach. This is also exactly what MathDash does. When we started MathDash, we were just doing private coaching. We were literally doing this directly with kids. And we were noticing we were doing the same thing over and over again. So that's why we built it into the platform. Everything in the MathDash program started from us doing it one-on-one with the kids. And then we realized over time, hey, this is what I want to do in this situation. Let me build it into the platform. And so that the technology can do it automatically for more kids. So MathDash is identifying those areas where your kid is making silly mistakes, and it's telling them, hey, you're making mistakes here. Let's do some more problems like this one. See if you can get them. Oh, you can't get them? Here's some hints. Oh, now you can get them. Awesome. Now we know this concept. Let's move on.
Okay, thank you.
How MathDash can make students more interested in math? Do you see students who use math for a long time, say 100+ hours, but still stuck? If you look at the graph of student hours versus improvement, all the students who spent a lot of time on MathDash also gained a lot of rating and had lots of improvement. So we don't see this. The only case where we see a student starting to plateau is when they are at the USAMO or MOP level, in which case we tell them to go to Otis, a different program. MathDash will be your company you fully work on after graduation, or is it your side project? I graduated from MIT in 2022. MathDash is my full-time job. I left my job on Wall Street where I was working at a company called Jane Street. I was a quantitative trader there. I left my job to start MathDash because I want to improve math education in the world. So this is my full-time job and not a side project. Is MathDash AI-driven platform? There is AI in MathDash. AI helps with the recommendation for what to train on. AI helps with helping you when you're stuck. When you have premium, you can have 24/7 access to an AI coach that we built into the platform. So you can ask it for hints and ask it for help if you're still stuck on anything, or if you want something conceptual explained to you. In your case, you can also use the AI in that case. You made such huge progress from 9th to 10th grade. What do you think contributed to your success? I told you, I spent a lot of time on math. I wanted to get better at math. I spent a lot of time looking at problems, trying to solve problems, thinking hard. Um, Problem solving is just a mental muscle. You have physical muscles. If you want your physical muscles to get big in a short period of time, you need to lift a lot of weights, eat a lot of protein, get good sleep, have a training regimen and want to get better. Spend a lot of hours in the gym. mental exercise, mental muscles, that's your problem solving skills. If you want to get better, you need to spend a lot of time on it. I think that's why I got so much better from 9th to 10th grade. I just spent a lot of time exercising my brain, thinking about hard math problems that were at my level, thinking hard about when I got stuck, why I was getting stuck, what problems I didn't understand, and then working on more problems like that to improve. What will happen if someone gets everything wrong and is playing and fooling around? Then they will not get better. MathDash, our primary hope is that you get interested in math, but also we make it very, very easy to get better at math because we're telling you, hey, if you want to get better, just do this. We can't force you to do anything as coaches, as parents, as educators. We cannot force you anything to do anything, but we can suggest and give you easy access to good resources. That's the best that we can do. So if you get everything wrong and you're just playing and fooling around, that's okay. You're not going to learn as much, but we're going to tell you what exactly you can do to get better. I'm a bit concerned about the AI tutor. Even the LLM reasoning model cannot solve math problem logically. You should try ours. I think ours is pretty good. The best LLM reasoning models today can solve every problem on the AIME. O4 can solve all 15 problems on the AIME. It cannot solve the hardest math problems, but we're not teaching you the hardest math problems. We're teaching you up to AIME number 15. So if your student is less advanced than AIME number 15, we can help them. Why a lot of content on MathDash are locked. So we would love to make MathDash free for everyone. That would be amazing. However, we have to make some money as well so that we can support the business and continue building more materials for everyone else. So that's why some of the content is locked behind a paywall. It's unfortunate, but it's just the reality of the world. MathDash has an app or just a website? It's just a website right now. Hopefully we have an app someday. If any of you know good app developers, we're also hiring. So if you want to build the MathDash app, let me know. But it's just a website right now. Do we have users from college students? Yes, we have college students who use MathDash. A lot of them use MathDash to get connected with companies, to get jobs, because we can assess the user's math rating. We actually ran a math contest 2 months ago, or last month, sorry, for college students, where we gave out $10,000 in prizes to the top math students in the country who participated in that and connected them with employers. So college students use MathDash as well, but our primary focus is on educating the younger students. What suggestions do you have about learning by combining MathDash and AOPS materials? Do you still recommend students to use AOPS books if they're using MathDash? So I only recommend students to use the AOPS books if they like reading books. If your student likes AOPS books, if they can read them by themselves, you don't have to force them to read it. AOPS books they're great. They're a great resource. I think the difference between MathDash and AOPS, the fundamental difference is that students get more excited about doing MathDash. That's the biggest difference. So if they're not excited enough about AOPS, they can learn everything they need to learn on MathDash. As we talked about today, MathDash has everything that you need to learn to get better. It's not that the books are not important, it's that MathDash has that too. We have those materials. So if the student finds MathDash is more fun, they don't need to use AOPS materials. That being said, if they like using the AOPS materials, definitely keep using them. They're a very good resource. Can third graders do MathDash? Yes, we will need parent consent when you sign up for third graders, but third graders can do MathDash. We have first graders on MathDash, second graders, third graders as well. So third grade is definitely okay. Just be careful, try to do the diagnostic contest that is recommended to you. And if you can solve those problems, then you're definitely able to use the platform. If you cannot solve the problems in the diagnostic contest, I would wait. We're working on getting more and more younger materials as well, or earlier materials. Any last questions before we wrap up?
Okay, Seems like there's no more question. Thank you everyone for coming. And if you fill the form, Daniel will send you the recording and slides. And you can also, we will also post a updated version in the WeChat with including the recording as well. Thanks everyone. Have a great summer.
Awesome.